So this is going to be super fast. These are on two perception issues that they've asked to cover, one connected with the eye and one connected with the ear. First one is red-green color blindness, which we kind of covered back in the genetic area, so it won't take us too long here. So for reminders, red-green color blindness is a genetic disorder by which an individual fails to distinguish red and green colors, red and green hues. Remembering that there are three different kinds of cone cells, each of which absorbs a different wavelength. If the gene responsible for producing red or green photoreceptors fail to work or are mutated, then red and green wavelengths cannot be distinguished. And since these genes are located on the X chromosomes, it is a sex-linked trait. All right, it's a sex-linked recessive trait. All right, so we kind of covered this here back. So how would you detect it? You can diagnose it by taking the Ishihara test, all right, where you would determine, all right, so it can be determined. So I'm not going to read the numbers to you that you see or don't see, but check it out for yourself. Sex-linked recessive, also a cochlear implant. So take a look at what the cochlea is. Cochlea is in a second. Bring the other picture up again. Remember, the cochlea is the spiral-shaped part of the inner ear, fluid-filled. The inner tube of it has cochlear hair cells. Sound wave hits the hair cells. Vibrations in the widths of the hair cell membranes allow for different frequencies. All right? Different hair bundles resonates at particular frequencies. And that generates an impulse from those hairs based on the vibration sent in from the oval window, sent to the auditory nerve. Now, a cochlear implant, that up there, is used to stimulate the auditory centers of the brain in patients with non-functioning hair cells in the cochlea. Standard hearing aids would not work because they amplify but don't bypass defective portion. So the upper right-hand portion is the picture you want to go to. All right, because an implant consists of two parts, the external part that you see here and the internal part. All right, the external part, what does it do? It contains a microphone and a transmitter that detects sounds, filters out extraneous frequencies, and then transmits signals into the internal parts. All right, so the internal parts are somewhat less of the kind of more like grayish here. So this way you can tell if they're internal versus external. Processor and a battery, external, internal. The internal components receive the transmission and produce electrical signals via electrode that you see there labeled, okay, embedded in the cochlea. The electrical signals are then transferred via the auditory nerve to be processed in the brain. All right, so the inputting of the internal portion is surgery, as you see there. And you can see the entire structure. No doubt you've seen that. So outer portion, battery portion, you can't see the inner portion, which would be put in there. Cochlear implant. All right, so this is going to, I believe, excuse me, after this here, get that up there so you can see and read it, is going to take that in, and I believe then that ends section 8.3 and then ends the